Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in my last video I talked about how the Mungyo 48 set of watercolors contains all the paints for the Prima Classics, Tropicals, and Decadent Pies sets. I also made my own Prima Tropicals dupe palette a few videos before that. I will link to all of those videos in the description bar right down there. So now what I would like to do is compare the palette that I made based on basically YouTube videos, pigment information, and swatches with the actual real palette. I will probably also discuss a few alternative options for each color as well. So what I'm going to do is swatch each color and swatch each original color and then swatch my dupe color and look at the differences between them. So I'm just going to start, just because it's a lot of stuff on my desk, I'm going to start by just swatching all of the original 12 colors. I think what I'll do is just swatch them right down the page, and then we'll do columns with options as we move forward. So here's our first color. This is Island. I've worked on this palette so much that I know the color names. Most of them, at least. This is Coconut. This one is Hurricane, maybe? I could probably pull it up. This color is Parrot. This is Hibiscus. And Palms. Pitaya. Reef. I think I'm gonna run out of room. Pineapple. I am gonna run out of room. Sunset. We will just scooch over here. Oh, sorry, I shook you. This is Ocean. Oh, you can't see that at all. That is Tiki. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is swatch my dupe colors. Now, some of these I have intentionally not matched very well, so just keep that in mind. I made some choices based on mixing and availability as well, really, so some of them might not be perfect matches. This is Phthalo Green. This is one of those colors that definitely doesn't match, but it's not too bad. It's not too far off. This is New Gamboge. I chose this color because it's more transparent than the yellow ochre color that they used there. This is Phthalo Turquoise. Again, this is an intentional swap out. This color is what they would call Ultramarine Blue, but it actually is a mix of Ultramarine Blue and Prussian Blue. I could have put Ultramarine Blue there, but I actually changed out the other blue later. I swapped out. So I wanted to make sure that all the colors would work together, and I felt like these were too close together, and it was also difficult to mix a black if I used Prussian Blue in that slot, so I swapped it out, but I'll show you what I chose later. This is Daniel Smith's Green Gold. Now I think if I wanted a more accurate match, I would probably choose Rich Green Gold, And I will pull that out in just a moment and show you that. This color is Pyro Scarlet. Again, I could probably do with a Scarlet Lake or French Vermilion there and be a little closer. And this is Sennelier's Forest Green, which is pretty close. This is Winsor Newton Permanent Rose. Again, pretty close. And Standard Dioxazine Violet. Now I chose Azo Yellow, Nickel Azo Yellow in this position because I already had the New Gamboge up here. New Gamboge would be a better choice. Almost, you can see. So New Gamboge would be a better choice for this color. But because I didn't want to use the yellow ochre, I decided to put New Gamboge here and put Nickel Azo Yellow there. This is Daniel Smith's Opera Pink. Now, in this slot I chose Ultramarine Blue. And again, I did that because when you mix Ultramarine Blue with Burnt Sienna, usually, you will end up with a really nice gray, and if you mix them very thickly, you can get a black. And that's really important in any kind of mixing set, especially so that doesn't come with a black. You need to be able to mix darker shades. So I ended up using Daniel Smith's Burnt Sienna in the last slot. A Burnt Umber would probably be a better match. But again, I felt like I needed to have this color combo in order to mix blacks well. And also, you can get to a Burnt Umber color by just adding a touch of blue to the Burnt Sienna. So I'll even show you just a little bit of Burnt Sienna, just a touch of French Ultramarine, and I mean that is almost a perfect match. So I didn't really feel like it was necessary to have the Burnt Umber there. Let's start with the coconut color. I think probably the best choice would be Monte Amiata Natural Sienna. Is very close. And this is Schminke's Yellow Ochre, also a decent option. And the other one I wanted to point out was the Parrot color. I originally put down Daniel Smith's Green Gold, which is a greener green gold. And this is Rich Green Gold, which is your more standard green gold color. I would say that this one is probably a little closer, but I think either of them weren't great there. The other color I mentioned, there were some alternatives, was that vermilion color. This is Winsor & Newton's Scarlet Lake. I think it's a little pinker actually. You could also try Daniel Smith's Organic Vermilion. These colors have a light fastness issue. They're slightly less light fast, but if it's for your sketchbook or something, I'm sure they'd be great. I did also have Cascade Green in the darker green slot, but I ended up not going for it because it is semi-opaque. Again, for this yellow, I think New Gamboge is a perfect match. I'll just put that, New Gamboge there for you to see. The other thing I think you can notice is some of these colors, not all of them, but some of them are a little more, some of them are a little more saturated, particularly the blues. Even if you compare their ultramarine blue to a real ultramarine blue, you can see there's a difference in pigment. I did want to show you a burnt umber just to compare. I'm gonna get these out of the way. So burnt umber, this is Mgram burnt umber. And it is a closer match for sure, but if I try to mix a gray, I wonder what would happen if I use burnt umber to mix that gray instead of, let's see. So what I'm gonna do is mix a gray with my set as is. So I'm gonna use more ultramarine than the burnt sienna. So that's a fair gray color. And that was pretty easy. I didn't even really have to adjust it. You can always drop a bit more blue in if you want it to lean more blue, or a bit more brown if you want it to lean warmer. So it's a really nice shadow color. It's very versatile, that color combination. So let's see if I mix that same color. I'll use, this is Mgram paint, and this is ultramarine, and this is burnt umber. So I'm gonna take a bit of the burnt umber, a bit of the ultramarine. Might be able to get a gray pretty easily. Okay, so this is with burnt umber. That's really not bad. Okay, so if I use Prussian blue in place of the ultramarine blue in that mix, what happens is the mix turns a little bit green. And I'll show you what I mean. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's very dark green. Hopefully you can tell. So that's because the Prussian blue compared to the ultramarine blue, hopefully you can see the difference. It is cooler. The French ultramarine is warmer, and the cooler blue is going to give you that green when you mix it with an orange, as opposed to a warmer blue. So that is why I see this color, it's not so nice. So that's why I made that change. Hi there, this is Future Sarah. I just realized that I should have shown you the gray black mixture with the original Prima paints. So I'm going to do that now. Unfortunately, it's a bit hard to get everything in the shot because this palette is just so big. So I'm gonna mix the color first and then I'll paint it out. This is the Prussian blue with the brown color. And again, it goes green, even if you're not gonna get a gray there. However, what I just thought of is I would like to mix the brown color with the other blue. See if I can get somewhere with that. In which case, that would be a really good option. So this is the Hurricane color. It's very weak pigmented. Yeah, it's still kind of going green on me. Keep digging. It's just very difficult to get there. It's still going to end up green. So again, just reinforcing, you got to be careful with your mixed colors because this set is beautiful, but in order to get a gray, I think you would have to move to mixing the red and green colors, which is fine. It's just not something I normally do. I wonder if you could mix. We'll try a couple. So this is that orange color. We'll try it with, that's brown. Oh, hold on. Yeah, so that's not gonna work. We could try this phthalo green with, I think this will give me a purple. Yeah, really nice purple though. I think you could get that color dark enough to get to a black. So that was Island and Pitaya. You could get those colors to be dark enough to get to a black, and you get a really nice purple out of them as well. So, I mean, my point is, I think you could get there, but having a sort of known standard mix is sometimes a little easier. So anyway, I just wanted to just show you as far as the grays and blues go. So that's just a little tour of my Prima Dupe set. I hope this has been informative and interesting. I hope that I have explained well why I substituted some colors for others. I still love the Prima paints themselves. They re-wet really well. They are vibrant. I have some questions about light fastness, which I've been researching, but overall, I think for a crafter or someone who's just painting in their sketchbook or their journal or whatever, I think they're fantastic paints. You can't go wrong. But for someone who needs light fast art, light fast paints, if you're selling your original artwork, I would probably steer clear of the Prima sets and the Mungyo set. I just wouldn't trust the light fastness on them. But of course, the choice is up to you, and I hope that I have at least helped you build your own palette or decide that you want to buy the tropical set. That's great too. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Of course, I appreciate you liking this video and subscribing. If you subscribe and hit the little bell to subscribe to all notifications, you'll be notified when I post another video on the Prima sets or any other watercolor videos for that matter. And I hope that this video has some value for you, and I will see you soon. Bye!